You know, I'm microphone challenged. Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order at 11:10 a.m. And Destiny, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I get a roll call, please? Oh, you know, you people just want everything. Sorry about that.
Berkowitz,
Here.
Butler. Ortiz.
Here.
Oxley. Trainier,
Present.
Winfrey,
Here.
Newquist.
Here,
We have a quorum.
thank you. Approval of minutes. First, we need to approve the minutes of the regular September 2nd meeting. Can I get a motion?
Second, Trinier.
Motion Oxley, second Trinier. Roll call, please.
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Butler. Ortiz. Oxley,
Yes.
Trainier,
Yes.
Winfrey,
Yes.
Newquist.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And number two, approval of the Finance Committee minutes for the special meeting on September 16th.
Motion.
Motion Trainier, second Oxley, previous Winfrey, second Ortiz. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment? Do we have any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, thank you. Old business. We have an update on our RNG project. And let me turn your mic, if you guys could hit your buttons so I can turn you on. Oh, well, let's see. How's that? Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Chair Newquist, committee members. I'm Greg Comperta, project manager for the Arch facility. I'm here with Dave Harpke, director, RRE Land Use Department. Thank you for having us here. We are here to present the update for Will County RNG project. So we'll start with plant operations. Going back to June, we produced 73,369 MMBTUs, which translates about 2445 per day. We have a production target of 69,000 MMBTU. Our obligation was 53,250. We exceeded both of those in June, which is a good month. And we had a facility runtime percentage of 96.7%. Going to July, we're a little lower, 68,768 MMBTUs for the month. So if you're looking at a gauge, that's about 2,200 MMBTU per day. Our target of 71,300 was just missed, and we surpassed our obligation number of 55,025. In that month, our facility runtime was about 93.4%. August, we were about 64,446 MMBTU. That translates to 2,078 MMBTU per day. Once again, with 31 days in the month, target was 71,300. And the minimum was 55,025, which we did at least meet that. And our facility runtime was a little bit lower at 92.6. This was prepared back in September. So I have some September data that you won't see on here, but for the month of September, we bounced back a bit. We completed our month at 69,267 MMBTU. So as kind of the gauge is the daily value, we were at 2308 MMBTU per day. So that's kind of going back between the June and July production. So a couple of challenges I'd like to mention we had. This is per month. For June, we had a feed compressor motor that failed. It was replaced. That's one of our main compressors that are in the beginning of the facility. During that time, the facility did run, but with one less compressor. It was rebuilt and placed back into inventory. July, we have some more challenges. Plant experienced valve failures in our nitrogen removal system. It was likely caused by moisture in the compressed air supply, which supplies the whole building. We had that compressed air dryer service to ensure dry air to the valves. No, that should remedy that issue. we also had a delivery rejection that occurred to a sensor issue at the RNG delivery point where we sell our RNG gas. That was a intermittent issue during the month of July, but it did cause some downtime. After extensive communication with the pipeline operator, they performed maintenance on the sensors and seems to be remedied. A third challenge in July that we had was ongoing well field maintenance contributed to elevated oxygen levels, which influenced the gas output. So when I say maintenance, it means like, they're placing more trash and they move over to a section. There's a section of wells in that area. They have to shut that section off while they're filling. So we lose a certain amount of gas till that's done and they put them back online. So that's usually what happens when we describe,
Excuse me one
Maintenance.
second.
Yeah.
Jackie, do you have a question now or do you want to wait until they're done with their report? Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
all right, so we're almost there. August, we had continued landfill maintenance issues where they were, work on the well field and we had lowered input. Something new in August, we had severe storms. They caused sporadic power outages. By every power outage, even if it's for a minute or two, we lose more time trying to start back up. And that was about a week there, we had intermittent issues with that. And towards the end of the month, we had some problems with our nitrogen control system computer, which caused additional downtime. That was a day or two there. And we had to have the manufacturer come in and actually reprogram the computer. So real quick, some key achievements, improvements. Production targets were exceeded in June. Runtime performance also surpassed 95% in June. In our warehouse, the building next door, the spare parts inventory is undergoing a reorganization, so it's more efficient to find parts and make sure we have everything we need. And there was one feed compressor motor that was repaired at no cost under warranty. So it went out a few months ago before this report and it was repaired and brought back. So that was no cost to the county. So in the back, you have the fiscal year budget statement of, it's just summation here, total expenses for the year through August 31st. 8,592,302. Total revenue, 8,132,817. In that expense, the debt service is 3,463,237. We put all together as of August 31st. Our net income is negative 459,484.52. So I think the first question, if I may, one thing I wanted to say that we are closing on the gap. We have 2 more months left. September is looking good so far. And if we could maintain production, at a good level, we have a chance of, closing that gap in on our revenue. So that's what I had. Any questions?
Yes, let me turn your mic on, Jackie.
That actually was my question.
Oh,
I had
okay.
2. Wanted to know if you thought we would at least break even this year. And based on what you're saying about September, it sounds like we could.
The window exists.
Yes,
It really
it
depends
does.
how
Yeah,
things run and.
I just had hoped this would be a revenue thing for the county.
Mm-hmm.
But again, eventually the debt service will be paid off and then that 4 million, approximately 3.5 million will be revenue instead of debt service. So
Yes.
although I don't remember for how many years our bonds go on this
12 years.
particular one, was it 10?
12 altogether.
Well,
Pardon?
12 years
12
altogether.
years. And what year are we in now?
This would be finishing the 3rd year.
So we have 9 more years of payments. That's a long time to wait for profits, but okay. And then I think you said this, landfill well field maintenance. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because
Sure.
it was in your report, but I didn't really know what that meant.
So, in the landfill, for those of you that came to visit, there's gas wells within it, with the footprint. And when there's new waste coming in, sometimes it's in an area where wells are present.
you have to
So
Stop.
they have to, so in that area, they'll have, say there's 4 or 5 wells in like a half-acre section where their active areas. They'll have to take the well heads off, extend them higher, cap them off, and then fill around them.
Okay,
And then once they're filled, then you put another,
then they can
Plug
move
it-
ahead.
they put it back
Reactivate
together and reactivate them.
Got it.
And that
Thank you.
happens for a few days at a time, for a week at a time. So it doesn't shut us down, but if, it takes us down like 10%.
Yeah, you're
5%.
losing some of your gas.
And those are normal operations.
Nope.
understood. Wasn't familiar with that term. I'm sure I've read it in one of your reports before, but yesterday, when I was reading through it, it kind of struck me. Thank you.
Absolutely, no problem.
Julie, then Dave, then I've got a question.
Thank you, Sherry. Okay, so Greg, in here you mentioned power outage due to weather.
Yes.
We don't have any type of a generator system?
No, the amount of electricity we use, it's not really a feasible thing. We could probably get a generator for like, lights and everything, but to run the equipment, no, we do not,
So
and the
it's-
cost would be
It's not
way outside.
possible, or it
No.
just wasn't put in the project?
It's not, it's possible, but not financially feasible.
Okay.
It'll cost more than,
What, was that considered though in the build, in the original
Dave,
project?
It was not considered in the build because of the expense. I mean, if you brought portable generators in there, it'd probably take 2 semi-trailers. And it would most likely cost us more to rent those than it would the time we were down and the
However, when
revenue
you
loss.
look at how it's impacting us with our input, it is costing us revenue.
Yes,
So it's something that it should be discussed to see if it's feasible at all, because it's obvious we're going to have these problems, you know?
Sure.
Is there any concern with a shortage or a high demand for power, and we may not have power? I know some of the industrial parks, they're experiencing power issues. Is there any risk that our plant?
The only risk that we've been informed of with ComEd, we do have a commercial rep. The only concern that they have had is during the storms with the wind or lightning knocking out our supply line. So currently they have not indicated to us that there has been any issues with being able to provide us with enough power.
I think that would be a good question to ask, because I do know that there are issues with the demand for electrical power in Will County, in the north section at least. So that might be something to be proactive, to talk to ComEd about. The other thing, I brought up the millions of dollars that we pay in electricity.
Mhm.
Now, you had said, you went out, you talked to companies, it's not feasible. There are people in the area that have solar where it's a freestanding panel. It's not attached to a building, and it rotates. So literally it's a pole and it's a freestanding panel.
Right.
That type of a system, have we looked at that?
We have looked at,
Compact?
we have looked at different sources on what the site would need for solar power to make any significant effect to our power costs. Since we take in or use 32 gigawatt hours of power a year, this facility to have a significant impact on our costs, we would need about a 70 to 82 acre solar field to provide the power for the site. And for something like that, costs about $400,000 to $600,000 per acre to install that. So we're looking at an approximate a $28 to $48 million price tag. And
So you mentioned, 48,000 solar panels, that those, there's a big difference in the panels that are available out there.
sure,
And I'm seeing these other systems where these panels are, they're like the dimension of our seating arrangement here. It's and rather than having 12 or 20 individual panels, it's one pole, literally, with a panel that can rotate. So it takes away that need for space. Have you talked to a vendor about that type of a panel?
well, do we just want to put one out there? I mean,
Well,
one's going to
But you
be,
need to talk to the experts and get, it's like,
It's like they're saying they have.
so, well,
so,
I'm not hearing that you have looked at the other types of styles of the system?
Well, there's a lot of resources available just to look at online without paying for a consultant when we're not paying our bills. So that's part of the concern already. We don't want to be putting additional funds out there to a consultant when we're not even paying the bills that we
So
have.
you've been looking at this online then?
There's plenty of information there. What we also need to understand is the land isn't there. And the landfill itself, there are sites who have solar on actual landfills. So, I mean, this is a good conversation to have. Yes, but we need to also realize the landfill itself has all of these gas lines under the surface. So if you start putting solar panels on the landfill itself, it has to be in an area of final cover. And then it has to be in an area where you're not going to have gas lines going underneath. We have a gas line that breaks or has a breach. We need to repair that as soon as possible. So if we have a solar panel in the way, we have to move it first.
So it's unfeasible
So-
to do this.
It's really not feasible, not at
Right.
this point. Maybe it's some time down the line when we have a lot of final cover on the landfill. But as we're considering an expansion, anything that's final cover could have to get peeled back and have additional landfill on it. So that's part of the problem we have right now. I appreciate the, bringing up the topic and the conversation. I mean, it is Resource Recovery and Energy Division. It's something we do like to see, but we want it to be also practical.
So the
Yeah.
number here on the graph, 2,021,758.85. That's year to date? Or what is
Year
that
to
number?
date.
Year to date,
Okay, so that's through August?
August 31st.
And we do work with the county's energy broker, which is Tradition Energy, to have the 3-year procurement contracts. We do have, our current contract ends next summer. We actually have a new contract in place per kilowatt hour. It is actually cheaper than what we currently have, but you're not going to notice a huge difference, but it will be less. So we are working on it in that manner, and we will continue to look at other options. That solar option, I think, will be something that needs to have a more significant conversation, probably in more of a 5 to 10 year timeframe from now, just due to, unless we have additional properties that somehow all of a sudden come available to us, but it's currently not the case. We're using every bit of it for landfill.
And just one quick question. Is there any concern with water shortage in that area?
Well,
You mentioned that there's wells.
there is
Any
one
concern?
groundwater well there, but since it's on Arsenal property, according to the deed, that water is not allowed to be used for potable reasons. We cannot drink the water at the Arsenal, but we can use it for flushing, hand washing, cooling. It can be used in that way. There's really not much water used at all on that site, so currently it's not an issue. It could be if there's a data center built somewhere around there, obviously, but currently no.
Thank you.
Dave?
In your July report, you stated the experienced valve failure for nitrogen removal. Were the air dryers for the compressed air dryers not serviced, or because you said then they were insured, then they were serviced? Were
Yeah,
they
so-
not serviced continually or?
Their service,
Properly?
it had issues for a little while that we're kind of trying to fix it. So there was a time frame where it wasn't working correctly. And the company was out to repair it and had to come back out again. And then in that time frame,
What was the time frame?
probably about a month in there. There's
I
a
mean, in
backup.
fact, that cost us money because of lack of maintenance is my point.
Well, that's as fast as we can get the company to do it. There's also a backup system. If our main dryer fails, there's a backup dryer it goes through. So it's a speculation that that's why it occurred, but it was switched to the backup system, which is just a stationary system, which
So do we have a maintenance staff on site that maintains this stuff or is supposed to, or?
for compressor, we there's a company we hire that maintains specific compressors and the dryer. It's a separate company. And they-
Obviously, they need to increase their maintenance.
That's what we could look at. So they
I
would
think
look
you should look
into.
at that and increase their maintenance and reduce our cost. I'm done.
I could do that.
Okay, thank you. Dan, go ahead and then I'll ask my question.
Thank you. So I just had a couple of questions because I'm not good with balance sheets. So I'm just, is there like a scheduled maintenance that has to happen every year? Like we have an overhead cost, like we pretty much know we're gonna go through these parts. They're gonna be, nothing lasts forever. So is there a cost attributed to that?
That's all within the budget for the O and M operator. They take care of the schedules. Every piece of equipment has a separate schedule which they maintain, so it's
Right.
multiple small schedules.
So that's in the spreadsheet.
That's included in the spreadsheet, the
Okay.
O and M service.
And then just two more quick questions.
Go.
So the other one was, could you clarify what longevity is?
Let's see. That's a good question.
Longevity is just a part of the budget we're required to have on there for salaries. If you look at any division expense spreadsheet, you're going to see longevity in there. So longevity is
Zero.
more so a line item you're going to see for, I know, CBA covered employees for sure get paid longevity, especially depending on how long they've been here.
So there's no cost attributed to that line item?
At this time, there's not. I don't know that there will be later.
And then my last question is, you said 320 gigawatts,
32 gigawatt hours a year.
32 gigawatt hours a year. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, because I don't understand how much a gigawatt really is. I imagine that's a lot.
That's a huge number, yeah.
That's the number.
Like next to the city of Joliet, like what's the comparison? Like, are we the same, half?
Well, if you just want to compare it to all the other county building facilities we have, this facility uses more electricity than all county facilities.
Okay, so not bigger than a city, but bigger than all of our other buildings.
Yeah.
Okay, just, I was just curious because I didn't have any reference for those. Thank
Right.
you.
Okay, so my question is, the target of 71,300, is that the amount that we need to hit in order to break even? Or is that like what the manufacturer, thinks we should be able to hit with the equipment? I'm just kind of curious.
So that's target I put together. That's a round number where we
Okay.
want to be to have a good month to cover expenses and have a little bit extra. So, and then that does fluctuate depending on the market of the our gas and everything else. But that's just a gauge.
It's kind of your benchmark.
Yeah. So if I meet that target, we're having a good month. So it's a little bit beyond covering.
Is it realistic, do you think?
It is because we met it in June.
Yep.
And June was one of our best months. So that's kind of like my B for class.
Okay,
A would be a little bit higher than that.
okay, thanks. I just wondered where that came from. So, and wait, Julie, you had a question?
I did.
And then Dave, and then Dan, do you have another question or?
So Greg, so we hire a private company to operate the plant.
Yes.
Okay. And then in the spreadsheet, it has, under the ledger account, full-time. So how many, those are Will County resident or Will County employees then, correct?
The
Under full-time,
full-time expenditure does cover,
206,000.
well, it covers his costs and it also covers portion of my salary and portion of other director's salaries in the department itself.
Okay, so approximately 3 people. Okay, so in here it said, so I'm looking at the relationship between us and the, I don't know if you would call them the vendor, the company that operates the plant. It, in here, and thank you for the report. I love the detail. It's easy to understand. In here, you indicated that in July, you say after extensive communication with the pipeline operator, they perform maintenance. Is there a lapse in communication? Could they have fixed the problem earlier? Was there a delay in getting this problem solved? That's kind of what I'm reading there
Mhm.
in
So-
that pure extensive communication.
So I say extensive, it took a while to figure out what was going on. The pipeline company was very, they reacted right away. They answered the phones and so it was actually a moisture meter. Oh, their moisture meter was reading that we had moisture in our gas line. And on our end, we don't have one, but the O&M company takes tests and other ways to measure moisture. So going back and forth trying to figure out what's going on was kind of the extensive part. They reacted in a timely manner, if not even better. They were answering the phones right away and looking into it. But it just took a little bit of time to figure it out. It didn't cost us an extensive downtime. I'm trying to remember how many hours it was, maybe about 5-6 hours total.
Isn't that something that should be part of their protocol? Every moment the plant is running, that moisture, monitoring it, because if it can literally cause this
Mhm.
much impact to the system, that should be one of
And
the
it wasn't,
issues they're monitoring constantly.
there was not a moisture sensor is not designed into our plant. And actually, in this case, our gas was completely dry and it took a while to convince the pipeline it was their issue. It was their sensor that they needed to clean and fix. So it
We
was
don't
their,
have a sensor.
not on the product line.
We do not have a sensor, but I
If
did.
we had a sensor, would that have
The c-
prevented?
All that would have done was been maybe more convincing to them, hey, our gas is dry like it always
So
is.
how do we fix this problem? How do we get a sensor so we can be proactive when a problem occurs? We've got the facts right there. What do we need to do to get a moisture sensor?
I think we looked at that. That was probably what, about 30 to 40,000 to get that put
Okay,
in?
Yeah,
so
we-
what
we
does
are
this
looking.
Cost us.
If it's 4 or 5 hours down, it probably costs us 10 to 15,000.
And this hasn't been an issue before. This is the first time it occurred.
But can it happen again?
It could,
It
and
always happen again.
and we are
I-
looking into it.
I-
Trying
I
to get
know.
price.
I'm not a mechanical engineer, but I live with engineers and I think it's something we should consider. This is a problem that could happen once, twice, 3 times. We never want that system to shut down. Our goal is 100% efficiency. It's never going to happen, but we have to have the best system to be able to.
And that's our
complete
goal too.
Okay,
We're just watching those ends not meeting, and that's a concern of ours.
so I feel that it
They're
would be
looking into,
something
he
to.
said they're
Yeah,
looking
I could
into it.
add, I asked our engineers on the team, the O&M team, to figure out what it would take to get this done. So there is a process happening right now.
So
So-
maybe the next time you
Thank you.
guys present, you can give us a follow-up on, what transpired and whether or not you're able to, or if
Sure.
it makes sense to install the sensors. So, okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Sure.
Dave?
Thank you. Line item number 15, other professional services for $1.432 million. What is that?
That is our operations and maintenance operator, our O&M agreement. We have SCS Energy operates the plant for the county. And their budget is about 2.4 million for the entire year. So they are under budget still at that point, and it looks like they will come in under budget for this year.
Then item 18, property insurance. Would we save money if we had put it under the group policy that the county has? Or
It is.
It is
We
already?
use Alliant Insurance, which is the county's insurance broker, and they do go out and secure this insurance for us. I don't think it is separate. They have to get the policy separate just for this plant because of how unique it is. It has gone down because we have some runtime without any incidents. Every 3 years, we have to renew our pollution liability insurance. So this next year will go up a little bit because of that again. But I agree, it's ridiculously high for insurance. I'd love to see it come down, but we haven't been able to do that at this point.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Butler, and then I hope we can wrap this up, guys. We got a lot more to cover on this agenda. Go ahead.
So how much was the initial project that we took the bonds out for? Like,
The bonds were 48 million for 12 years, and we received a lower interest rate because they were green bonds.
And then how much have we paid back so far?
The 3 years worth, so 4.6 million per year we pay. So I think the
Like
third
four-
payment was just paid 4.6 million per year. I know we paid at least,
4.6?
correct.
Per year.
Okay,
We paid 3 or 4 years. I think
so it's like
Aaron would have that exact
14 million
answer.
roughly, 14 something?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we figure in 9 years will be paid off.
A total of 12 should be another 9 payments.
So total of 12 years, it'll be paid off.
Correct.
And isn't the life of the project like 35 years?
If not more, if the county does expand the landfill, it could go
What
even
about-
50 years.
But I think that the main, let's not get too carried away, like 35 years is the projected length of the project. A lot of stuff would have to be replaced after that. So that still leaves us with like 22 years of pretty good money making, ahead.
Right.
Bring it.
Right.
So I just want to point that out to people, like, when I got on the board, I always wanted to figure out ways to create revenue to lessen the tax burden for the people. And everyone said, you can't do that. We're government. We don't make money. And I used to get told that all the time, but yet here we are making an investment into the future for the people of Will County. And yeah, we have to pay off all the bonds that we took out, but after 12 years, we are going to be generate extra money, and it should lessen the tax burden, hopefully, if we do our jobs right. So I just want to keep that into perspective. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate your
Thank
time.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no other old business, so we'll move on to new business. Number one, transferring appropriations within the Will County Health Department budget. Motion Trunier, second Denise. Any discussion or questions? All right, can I get a previous? A second? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Then we have number two, appropriating funds within the Will County Health Department budget. Again. Do you have a previous? Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number three, trustee resolution. Can I get a motion in a second? And then if you guys, all right, second, do you guys have questions, discussion? All right, can I get a previous? Second? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number four, budget transfer. Questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Appropriating funds on hand for debts in the debt service funds, number five. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number six, appropriating funds in the coroner's budget. Do you have any questions? All right, previous? Second? All in favor?
Just want to ask.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
don't want to mess with the.
No, go ahead. Let me turn your mic on.
Stuff they're asking for.
Hold on, Dan. I gotta turn your mic on. If you can hit the button. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to be, understand this process. So these appropriations are well within our budget.
Correct.
We're not asking for stuff outside our budget.
Correct. It's basically just reallocating
Right,
funds
'cause
at
we
the end
have
of the
to-
year to cover, some expenses were more, some were less, less, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Where were we? Oh, appropriating funds. Motion in a second. Favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number seven, appropriating funds on indemnity, which is a special fund. Second. Favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number eight, appropriating funds on hand in the Laramie Communications Center budget. Move. Winfrey. Second Chenier. Previous.
Second.
Brookwood, second Oakland. All in favor? Aye. Oh, Cleo, sorry. Talking about equal.
No problem.
Sorry about that. Number 9, appropriating funds in the Veterans Assistance Commission budget.
Motion.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, Will County estimate of annual aggregate levy.
Motion, Trinier.
Okay. We have a previous? Second?
What is this one?
All right, do we have questions or discussion? Just a comment, this is similar to the first speaker, guys, where this is the annual aggregate, it doesn't mean. Oh, thank you. It doesn't mean this can't be changed or that we're not gonna have future discussion about it. It's my understanding that this is basically, again, for public comment. And it is an estimate. Okay, anybody questions? All right, all in favor? Aye, opposed?
Call.
Oh, a roll call, all right.
I would like to make a comment.
Sure.
Right, I,
Well, you can vote no when I say all in favor, and then when I
Okay.
say opposed, you can
Okay.
say no.
I just want to say, I have been talking to my constituents. And not everybody lives in $1 million house, especially in Naperville. And you can chuckle and smirk and whatever, but there are a lot of people out there that are really struggling. Their property insurance is going up. Their electric bills are going up. Gas is awesome. Electric never stops. Electric just goes up and up. You see more solar panels all the time and it just keeps going up. They can't pay for food. They can't keep up. They're not getting raises. We have college graduates not getting jobs. They can't get jobs. 2 or 3 years going on interviews. I had one young adult in my district told me he's been on 45 interviews and not one job offer in finance. Similarly in computer science.
Julie,
And
Julie, we don't want to make speeches. Do you have a
Okay.
question?
I'm making a comment that I'm looking at this levy and we need to tighten our belt. We can't continue to do this because when these people, we just had a tax sale, when they don't pay their property taxes, they lose their home. So I don't know. I would recommend that everyone's talk to your neighbors and find out. I don't think my district is much different than any other district in the county. Thank you.
Guys, we did kind of have the chance for questions and comments, but go ahead, Dave. Let me turn your mic
I
on.
mean, I agree with Julie. Everything's went up everywhere, taxes, everything. And if you listen to Governor Pritzker 2 or 3 weeks ago, he wants everyone to cut their budget by 5%, 4% due to the funding that we're not going to get from the Trump administration. It's something we need to look at because we keep talking about increase, increase, increase. Well, it's unsustainable. I mean, property taxes are up. The quadrennial assessment, it forces, we cut our expenses by 1.7, or we only want a 1.7% increase. Well, how much more money did they get in revenue from the quadrennial reassessment of all the properties versus what they got the year before is the question. It's all glossy and nice, but what's the real question and the answer? And I agree with part of what Julie's saying, and we're here at finance, and that's what we're supposed to do, control the finances. We need to discuss it when we can, because we don't discuss it at the county board level. That's why we have committees. And if we're not going to discuss it here, why bother having a committee?
Well, I'm allowing it. My point was when I asked if anybody had any questions or comments, nobody said anything. Somebody said, previous role. So I wasn't trying to cut off discussion. I was just following the protocol. So, but now that we're discussing it, we can discuss it. So you're welcome. Dan, go ahead, and then Judy. Oh, I have to turn your mic on. I'm sorry. Okay.
So it's always confusing because, we look at this levy and we say, wow, we're at half what we were last year, but it's still an increase, right? It's still an increase. So I would like to see a lot more cuts in programs, before we charge the levy, before we, increase the taxes. And I think at a time like now where, for a long time, I used to pay my mortgage, and just whatever. And now all of a sudden I'm like looking at my taxes and I'm like, well, this is starting to add up. So while I understand that government needs money, I also think that there's some programs, that maybe aren't as essential. And given the time where we're trying to, navigate through this, tougher economy, I think that it would really help the people of Will County if we could lower taxes. I mean, it's kind of odd for me because I've always lived in this area, but I lived just on the other side. I lived in Park Forest, but I was in Cook County. And I remember I enjoyed driving to Will County to get gas because it was cheaper. And now Cook County adds 3% and Will County adds 5%. So I don't know how that happened, that now we're the more expensive.
We
Gas.
don't add 5%. We had 4 cents a gallon.
There was
Just
an
so-
increase in that tax, and I'm not sure where it's at. It's.
But
Or-
my point
Yeah.
is that this used to be the place to go because things were less taxed. And now Will County is becoming every bit as expensive as Cook County, and in some areas like the gas, more expensive.
Mhm.
So I would like to see the tax rate, the levy be cut.
Right, thank you. Judy, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just have to make this comment. It seems like a lot of times, and in this committee a lot, that when somebody makes a motion or makes a comment or wants to discuss it, we're told, well, we don't need to do that. This is the time to do it. And as far as, because if you're not going to have that debate here, and there should be a debate, everyone
We
should
are
be having a
discussing
conversation.
it right now.
Everyone should have a comment on both sides of the aisle, not just one side is silent and the other side is arguing against doing this levy increase, because it's still an increase. Why is it less than last year? The CPI is a little bit less. And of course, we have been raising it quite a bit over time. But not only that, as far as making the comment that we don't or we can't have a comment or dissertation or whatever on the county board floor, that is wrong. We want to have as much comments and as many questions as we want or need before we vote to pass it. So for anybody to say we shouldn't talk about it at committee or we can't talk about it full board, we definitely can. If you don't like something here, pull it out. If there's a consent agenda, pull it out, have that conversation. Because that's what we're here for. We're all elected to have the hard conversations, to maybe sway somebody one way or another, regardless of what the issue is, not to silence anybody. And I know that some like to have a longer conversation about various things, but that's just the way they think, the way they process it, and they get to their point. So I just wanted to make that comment. That's what we need to be doing. We need to make sure we do that.
Thank you. And we are doing this. Once again, perhaps you didn't hear me the first
I
time.
heard you.
My point was that no one brought this up when I asked for questions or discussion. So, but given that so many people had questions, we are having the conversation. This is
I've
not
heard
an
that and I've heard the
attempt
shutdown.
to stifle discussion about the budget. So thank you for your comments. Yes, go ahead, Dan. Hold on. Let me turn your mic on. Go ahead.
Just to clarify for both sides, the meeting was picking up a rhythm and I think accidentally it just got a little bit beyond and then people jumped in a little late. So on both
This is
sides,
fine.
yeah, I know, it is fine. I'm just saying on both sides, it's okay. We're good.
Okay, as long as you guys are good. All right, Mr. Logan, go ahead.
So I don't know if this now is the appropriate time to talk about the cannabis fund, or did you want to wait till new business?
Why don't we wait till other new do I have another new business down there? Yeah,
Yeah.
let's wait till other new business if that's okay. Thank you. Okay, any more questions about the levy? Oh, Jackie, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't have a question. I just want everybody to remember, this is just so that we can publish it. This does not end discussion. We can continue to talk about cutting programs in the county. If people have ideas of what they want to cut, they should bring it forward in this committee.
Yes.
I, for one, do not want to cut anything at this time because the federal government is already cutting. They are already adding to the burden of working families in our community. They are, in some cases, doubling the cost of healthcare. They are cutting out payments for SNAP. I think I just read 2-point-something million gallons of milk is not coming to our state because of the revenge game that somebody in the White House is playing. Our communities are going to need more from us than ever before. Our budget is lower this year. Now, I will admit some of that is because the ARPA money is gone, but our budget is lower. If you can convince all of the contractors and vendors that do business with us to cut their prices, then we can cut our budget. But every year, the rents go up on every one of the buildings we rent. Every year, the utility costs go up that we have to pay as a county government, not just as individuals. I mean, my water bill went up $50 this month and, well, for the last several months. And it's going to stay at that level. I can't control that. And I'm sure that the county has the same situation with their utility bills. So I'm going to be in favor of publishing this levy. And like I said, if people have some ideas about what they want to cut and they want to bring them forward, this is the committee to bring them to. Thank you, Sherry.
Yep, I will call on Mr. Butler and then on Jim, but I just want to make the comment. I believe I had asked for this at our last meeting. If you guys have suggestions, things you want to cut, modifications you want to make, please let me know, let Marcy know. I mean, we need, if
That's
you
what the
know,
meeting's
if you
for.
have concrete suggestions, please submit them. And also, we have another special finance meeting coming up this month. The meeting last month was not very well attended. So that's the time, guys, to also hash this out. We're running out of time. So if you've got specific changes you want to make, I'm not saying they'll be able to be made, but please get them in, before we're at the last minute and now we're in a position where we don't have time to discuss it. So, and I know Rashawn, we'll be happy to address at the special finance meeting. This is a very tight budget. But again, please, your input is requested. Thank you. Dan, go ahead. Let me turn your mic on and then Jim after that.
So I
Oh,
just,
I'm sorry, and I didn't see.
I had my light
I'm
on.
sorry, Julie, I didn't notice.
I just would like to caution everybody, there's a lot of news that goes out that are spread through memes and little clips. And, I know there's a lot of talk about the SNAP program being attacked and, being lessened, but it's all in relationship to where the monies are going for what people. So I know that they have reduced the benefits for non-citizens. And that is figured into some of these numbers. But, from a budgeting standpoint, if a state has enough money to incur billions of dollars in extra social services expenses, then they should not worry about getting free handout. If they don't have the money, they shouldn't do it. And they won't have the problem. So there's a lot of tax-paying citizens that are like me who feel like we should always budget our bank accounts, right? Our budgets at home, we try to balance, and we would like to see our state do the same. But when there's billions of dollars of bleed because we're incurring costs from, people that aren't contributing back, then that is where the problem is, not in the fact that the federal government will not give us more money. That's where we should be looking. And more fiscally responsible people see that. So I don't think it should be scoffed off as a vengeful person in the White House, because there's a lot of people that don't feel that way about our president. Thank you.
Just a reminder, guys, that we can't control the state or the federal budget. We can only control our county budget. So just a quick reminder on that. Jim, if you don't mind, I'm going to let the committee members go first. Julie, you had your light on. Go ahead. And then Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
I
So
didn't notice.
I want to state here that, again, we determine the levy, but we don't necessarily have to figure out what the cut has to be in the department. The department head gets a certain amount of money for their budget, and then they figure it out. It's what they have. That's their budget. We shouldn't get hung up because we have to find out where $20,000 is coming from. The department head, that's their job. That's their job. We don't need to scour all these programs and figure out which program needs to be cut. Our job is to allocate the budget. What are we charging the taxpayer? What are we charging? What are they taking out of their hard-earned money to send to the county? That's our job. So before we get hung up in the weeds trying to figure out how to save this money, it isn't necessarily our burden. So I just wanted to add that comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thought I turned you on. Go
There you
ahead,
go.
Dave.
Thank you. It's a vicious circle, no matter which way you go. It starts, I mean, homeowners insurance is up, taxes are up, gas bills up, the electric bill is out of control. We as the government as taxpayers fund the government, they give these people the solar credits to build these solar farms, and our electric bill goes up 26%. And on Jackie or Julie's side here, she's right. This county board, if we want to cut the budget, we need to tell the department heads, tighten your belt by X amount of dollars or X percent and bring it forward. It's not our job to go through what they have in their offices. We don't know their inner workings of their facility is, each department. So if we want them to cut the budget, we need to direct them to cut by this much percent, bring it back to us and go from there. It's not our job to go through it.
Okay, Jim, go ahead, and then Destiny.
Great. So all valid points. Everything is up. And I agree. It shouldn't be our job to go and look into each department and figure out where cuts could be made. As a business unit, if you reported up to your boss, they'd tell you exactly, this is how much money you're going to get, or you'd propose how much money, and they'd come back and say, no, you're not getting that, figure it out. So let's take a look at Sunny Hill. In January, I was told I was the first person that brought up that they lose $3.5 million. So I took a little bit, well, that's what Maggie told me. So I'm not going to debate anybody. So from there then, I did a little bit of a deeper dive into their budget. And I'm no expert on nursing homes, but I look at it from a dollars and cents perspective. They do a great job. They have a high rating. They have a high rating compared to a lot of other private institutions that are out there. But at what cost to the taxpayer? I've been told before that we can't operate like a business, but yet we're in the private sector business of nursing homes, and we have it as a county entity, which our taxpayers are paying for ultimately to some degree. So based on my math, it's like $57 per night per bed that the taxpayers have to pay. So now let's step back. Let's take a look at their actual budget. Their budget has $2.1 million, and I'm rounding off on some of these numbers because I don't have them right in front of me, that they pay for contract help outside. That could be an employee. We pay $1.6 million in overtime. That's $3.7 million that could go to an actual employee. I then took a look at the number of CNAs that we have, and the average pay for a CNA ranges from, at the low end, based on public information that I was able to gather from the county, from, I want to say, $43,000, $44,000 to $66,000, if I'm not mistaken. If you fully burden that, they're making about, all in, their compensation is about $75,000 to $96,000. Not bad, but if we could add a few more employees and we could go into their organization and figure out, do they need 8-hour shifts? Do they need 10-hour shifts? Do they need 12-hour shifts? And try and balance that all out. Like I said, I'm not a nursing home expert because I know there's regulations on every business. But what we need to do is dig down into some of these organizations. I'm not saying cut anybody right now until you do a deeper dive. But what I'm saying is let's look at these organizations and try and run them more like a business unit so that this way we don't have, because if we could figure that out, if based on my guesstimation, we could probably spend about $2 million, save $1.6 million out of the budget. So right there, that's a pretty decent cut. And that's without doing anything. It's just not having contract help. And when I looked at some of the retention of some of these CNAs, some of them have like 200 hours vacation, which tells me that they stick around for a while. Because at the end of the day, if you're a CNA, you're making that kind of money, plus you're getting a pension. And I just sat in on the OPEB meeting where there were people that retirees that don't realize that when they become 55 years old, they've done their service, they get their health insurance paid till they're 65 years old. Pretty nice perk to go along with your pension that you're getting. And then you'll collect your Social Security when you're 62, 65, 67, whatever your mark is, that you can collect your full benefit or whatever you decide to pull the trigger on that. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to being an employee of the county that aren't really realized. And one of the discussions that we had today in OPEB was the fact that when you're a new hire, you don't really get all the information. You say, this is what your salary is going to be. Let's just say it's going to be $50,000. Well, if you add in all the other things that you get, 14 holidays, 12 sick days, 3 personal days, you're going to get not Cadillac, Rolls-Royce health insurance. You also are going to get a pension if you stick around long enough. We pay into IMRF for you to the tune of 8.2%. Most people don't realize that it could be as high as 12. If you go back in the budgets, it's been as high as 12.2% that I've been able to find. Significant amount of money, especially if you're making $50,000. You know, you're talking about an extra, $5,000, $6,000 that's being put into the pot for you. So I think what we need to do as a government is, I know you say we can't operate like a business, but what we need to do is make everybody realize just how good of a package they have. Because if you're making like 60 some $1,000s and your package is worth 90, to me, that sounds like a pretty good deal at the end of the day. Plus you could have your health insurance going forward. So that was one of the discussions that we had today. Sherry, you were in there about new hires and actually, you know, Chuck, you've been here for X number of years. You should get a report every year. Here's your pay. Here's what you get, because it's in the employee's best interest to know what they're entitled to. All right. And I think that's some of the things that we need to look at. So I will bring some more information forward on Sunny Hill. I think we can also do the same thing at the health department. In talking to those folks there are certain programs that are mandated by the feds or by the state or that. But then what I'm hearing though is that some of these things, they just fill the gaps of things that aren't provided out there. In these economic times, we just can't keep having scope creep with an organization. We have to provide the services. We have to look at the service that they're providing and how many people are benefiting from them. Last thing I want to do is spend $100,000 to help one person. If I could spend $100,000 and help 1,000 people, that's a better way to spend our dollars. I'm not saying that one person isn't important, but maybe what we need to do is look through other parts of the county, other parts of the state on how we can get assistance for that person. So I'll be bringing some more things forward for you and
Thank you.
be happy to talk to you in detail about them all. So
Perfect.
thanks.
Thank you. All right, Destiny. Oh, sorry. There you go.
Thank you so much. All right, so I just want to say that I respectfully hear everybody and there's points being made today, but I also was out talking to my neighbors recently, and there's 2 stories that stick out to me. Both of these homes were seniors. The first one was very, very concerned about the food insecurity that we have right now because the prices of food are astronomical. And the cuts to programming for foods is coming down and it is hitting families very, very hard. And there's also simultaneous attack on food pantries, especially in my area in DuPage Township, where people don't want to see food pantries because they believe that they bring crime, this and that or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that people need to eat, okay? And food is too expensive. The second house, another senior home, came out to me and was very, very frustrated and upset and said that the medical care that his wife needs under the Obamacare, they were only paying $400 a month, flat rate. Whatever they needed, they were able to get, whether that be prescriptions, whether that be care, and all they had to pay was $400. Now, since they have changed to Medicaid, they're paying at least 3 times that. And he was expressing to me that they don't even have money to go and get a cheeseburger anymore because they are being just really off-put. Yes, they're being pressed with the life-saving medication that his wife needs to survive, and from switching to Obamacare to Medicaid, because, you know, they've reached that point, they have to pay now 3 times as much. He said, we have to do something for seniors, he said, because they cannot afford this. And as we know, they're not making any more money if they're retired. We don't want them to continue on working into their 70s, 80, 90 years old just to provide basic medical care for their life-saving medication that they need. So no, I don't think that we should be putting all our energy towards trying to save a couple dollars on the forest preserve, trying to save a couple dollars at the county board, because I think on my tax bill, I pay maybe $400 to the county board. That is nothing compared to what people have to pay, and especially what seniors have to pay to get their life-saving medication. So I feel like, yes, we do need to be saving money and helping people out, but cutting programs is not it. And going after a budget that is $400 per year is not it. We need to go to our school board and really hunker down on that budget to see where we can save people thousands of dollars. And then we need to continue to invest and figure out a way for seniors to be able to live and get the care that they need without having to wonder if they can pay for food or pay for their medical insurance or their medicine that month, because that's all they have. They're on a fixed income. So I feel like all of this is just, it's a lot of talk, but we're not really going to get to where we need to be if we don't address root causes. Thank you.
Dave, oh, let me turn your, thank you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I'm surprised that their medical insurance is that high if they're on Medicare. Because it goes based on your income. And there's different policies out there. There's a lot of different policies for Medicare. And I understand their feelings. I mean, they're, as you said, their pension doesn't go up. Their Social Security goes up 2.5% this year. Well, that's not much when it comes down to the grand plan of every other increase. We're just trying to look at ways of saving money and helping our residents. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Do we want to do a roll call, or do we want to let's do a roll call. Okay, guys, so just as a reminder, this is to pass, this is the Will County estimate of the annual aggregate levy. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Berkowitz,
No.
Butler, Ortiz,
Yes.
Oxley,
No.
Trainier,
Yes.
Winfrey,
Yes.
Newquist.
Yes.
Motion passes.
4-3. Okay, thank you. Number 11, Community Mental Health Board estimate of annual aggregate levy. Motion Trainier, second Winfrey. I'm sure questions, comments? Julie, go ahead.
I do have a question, and I'm looking for it. It's hard to toggle back and forth on this system. But there was somewhere a comment made that if your assessed value was $250,000, your mental health tax levy was $7 or $9. I like that sentence. I just wish it was true. So,
I don't see
I
it
don't
on
know
here.
where it is. I have been looking for it here. Hold on, maybe it's in this.
Maybe Rashawn can answer that question.
Yeah, it's really hard to try to, this thing won't download.
No? Okay.
But, I don't know what, I mean, my mental health levy last year was $69.03. So I must live in a mansion, which I know I don't. So, I just can't pull it up right now, wherever that statement came from, that was the only cost to the property tax owner. But I will say I was really concerned when I saw now, the ask is up to $12 million. And at what point in time do we really look at the everyday person out there? And the toll that property taxes takes on your mental health. Property taxes alone are causing this problem. And we really need to take that serious. When we come in here and we say, people are hurting, we need to take more money away from them. And then that's gonna help them. So, I don't know how this information is, I guess, I can't pull it up. Can you pull it?
It's not there.
It's not
There's
there.
only yeah. So
Well,
I'm
if
not
there's
sure
no
where you got
comment
that
on the
from, but
levy, that was just my comment. I was
Okay.
really concerned about how the cost on my tax bill was so high. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Let's do a roll call again, Perla. Thank you.
For
Let me-
number 11.
For number 11.
Okay.
Oh, your mic's still on.
Berkowitz,
No.
Butler. Ortiz. Axley,
No.
Trainier,
Yes.
Winfrey,
Yes.
Newquist.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, that brings us to other new business. Vince, let me turn your mic on. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll be quick. So myself and Member Ortiz had some great discussions. We were tasked with figuring out where the cannabis funds were going to go this year. So we actually came to a bipartisan compromise. I believe all board members have a copy of it, but I can actually hand another copy out if people want. I just wanted to make sure that it was notated and for the record.
Yeah, we
so.
can't vote on it today
I'm
because
just
it's not
handing
on
out,
the
you know,
agenda.
what
Yeah.
what we discussed.
Okay,
I don't think either side has an issue with what we discussed, so.
yep. I haven't seen it yet, so I apologize.
Oh, you should have got an
for
email. I'm
that.
sorry.
Pardon?
I said you should have got an email from,
My apologies. I must have overlooked it.
yeah,
So
so there's a
I'm-
lot of stuff going on
We
right
can,
now.
we can still,
Yeah,
so you
so
just want to make sure that we
I've
know
got
that.
copies. I'll make
there's a
sure that
compromise.
all the committee people have a copy of it,
Okay.
and they go from there.
Okay,
I know my side's good with it, so, and I think, Member Ortiz said her side's good with it too.
so if I would ask that everybody could make sure they're familiar with the email, and then that's something we can discuss at the special finance
Yeah.
meeting. If that makes sense, I can have that put on the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. That was quick. Sorry. Oh, okay. Vince, can you send a copy of that email to Chuck or Destiny? Can you send that? Okay. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, that does it for other new business? Yes. Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For everyone here. So just as a reminder, we are, as the executive's office, more than willing to work with everyone on the budget. A lot of the members of this committee have reached out, scheduled meetings with us to run through the budget, and I do appreciate that and your attention to detail on it. And just as a reminder, we got this year for the corporate fund, $307 million in departmental requests. And that's not just land use and departments under the executive branch. That's the sheriffs, that's the courts, that's the public defender. Rashawn was able to work that number down to 282. And so when you go like, where are the cuts? Before you see the proposed budget, that's 25 million in reductions off the top. And I think that's just an important reminder to people. As for, efficiencies in government, some of the things that we do in the background that you don't see every day, we revamped our Amazon purchasing priorities. We've cut our Amazon expenses by 19% this year. We've cut 33% of credit cards outstanding with county employees. We have changed that whole procedure. We have done a significant audit with our cell phones. We have cut that significantly. We'll be cutting it in half, hopefully by the middle of next year. As for Sunny Hill, we're aware there's, staffing issues over there. Any medical facilities dealing with the same thing between agency and staffing. You'll notice that the overtime number in the Sunny Hill budget is less than it was for last year. We are working diligently on coming up with a plan with management and the union to create higher staffing levels over there. As you all voted on previously this year, we are doing a billing audit for the health department and for the nursing home to make sure we are squeezing every dollar of reimbursement that we can get. Those interviews just happened this week. As for the whole budget process, we start in our office with a goal to Rashawn to say, hey, get us to zero in as a levy. And then where does that leave us on comfort level for the future of the county's fiscal shape? And so we were able to get to 2% this year. And so I don't want you to think that we're starting with a goal of tax to the max, right? We do not do that. We look at each line individually. We spent hours and hours and hours going through this year's budget. We received in our office, and I believe the board did too, a letter from 2 members of this board plus members of the health department board requesting additional levy money for the health department to keep our property tax burden as low as we possibly could. We put that funding in cannabis funds, but that was a bipartisan request for additional money for the health department. And I just want to make people aware that, and I will end with, we are always here. We are here every day of the week. Rashawn will take any meeting at any point in time. I usually sit in on all of them for members that want to walk through any lines they have in the budget. Reminder, we are very personnel based. We are very public safety heavy. That is what county government does. And so when you're looking at a property tax bill of $400 per home, that is $400 to pay for sheriffs, to pay for justice, to pay for health department expenses. And you look at our neighboring counties, I have a call with them just about every week, and Kane County has very significant budget issues. McHenry County is getting into very significant budget issues. And you have to have thoughtful long-term planning in your budgeting approach to avoid those situations where you are cutting off all funding to certain avenues, or you are dipping into your reserves like Kane County did last year to the tune of $27 million for a county smaller than Will. And so those are things I just want to make you all aware of, and invitation to anyone who wants to come and sit and talk about the budget, more than happy to.
Thank you. Judy, go ahead.
Thank you. So I just wanted to comment about the budget. So the county executive office is the one who sets it up, and we have our finance person and the executive's finance person, and they have asked for the information from all the different departments. The departments provide them with, this is a list of things that we would like, the amount of employees extra we'd like to hire, and this and that. And then Rashawn and Marcy go through and look at and say yes or no to some of these things, because it's really their wish list. So they narrow each department down to what they feel is a wish list that we could possibly deal with. The amount of money that we're going to tax, the county executive just looks at the CPI and new construction and determines what it could be. Then she presents that budget to us, which she did in August. That budget comes to the county board, and now it's our budget. It's our board. We're the ones who passed it. We're the ones who are responsible for that, not the executive. We're the ones who are tasked with passing a budget that makes sense to do whatever it is we need to do for the county. And so I appreciate the conversation that was just had about reaching out and everything like that. I think a lot of that conversation should happen beforehand, so we don't have this extreme difference in cannabis dollars or how we might spend that, or in opioid dollars, because we do have the right, it is our duty to determine that. And that's why we have our different working groups to make those decisions. That way it's more balanced. We have a Democrat and Republican, and they come up with an answer for both of those expenditures. And so we can't just say that one thing, but we need to look at the budget as a whole. And every single taxing body needs to be responsible for cutting the property tax. Everybody. Because if we can cut a little bit at Forest Preserve and we can cut a little bit at the county, that lowers that portion of the property tax bill for that resident. The other taxing bodies, it's on them. And every year the school boards and forest fire boards tax to the max. Every year. That's what they do. So yeah, we do have to get at them as an elected official, go there and ask them to look at their budget closely. But we can only control our budget, and we need to do that. If it saves $5 at county board and $2 at Forest Preserve, we've saved $7. That's a start. So everyone is responsible for their levy. We're responsible for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I have no further announcements or reports. Do we need an executive? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, we did. We voted on it. Yep. Do we need an executive session? Okay, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All right. All in favor? Aye, we're adjourned. Our next meeting is November 4th. What?